actually Thursday, Joel.
Is it? Oh my God.
You
Oh,
said it was an easy date to remember.
oh, that's right.
Apparently the day of the week, though.
Starting off with a bang here,
Uh,
Joel.
we were just having too much fun here in the pre-market chat for the pre-market show. Dennis, we got a lot going on today here. Let's just cut right to the chase. What about Citigroup here?
Citigroup just broke 2 minutes ago here. Earnings not good. They missed here 82 cents versus 95 cents. 17.94 billion versus 18.54 billion. All the financials have been beating. This is not good news for Citi. It's down $1.50 right now. Obviously, we've seen, and when Goldman Sachs reported this morning, they beat. Obviously, we've already seen the other banks report here for the majority, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. So Citigroup miss here is not good news for Citigroup shareholders.
Okay, let's take a look at the action going on right now in shares of Citigroup here. Pull up the intraday chart. Wow, $2 drop, Dennis, huh? Look at that. We just bounced off. Well, we haven't bounced off. 53.28 is the current low here. Pre-market trading, nice volume coming into this issue. So let's see if the low can hold up long enough for me to. Ooh, we're getting into a vacuum area here, Dennis. We haven't been back down in the lower 53s for quite a long time here, and it's a vacuum area, Dennis. I mean, what's the low you had? You had a low at 53.43, so I'm sticking.
And we're right there right now.
Right there,
so they're
right.
trying to hold that.
They're trying to hold that, but you don't have to be William O'Neill to see what's underneath that, Dennis. It really, really opens up here into the 52s, actually 52.31. But let's see what happens here. See if they can defend at 53.43 level. Getting a little bit of a 20-cent bounce. Are they whacking any of the other financials, or is just
They're starting to a bit. Like, obviously, we've already had reports from JP Morgan. We've already had reports from Wells Fargo. Goldman Sachs already reported here this morning, and they beat. So Goldman Sachs is still trading up just slightly here. Let's just check out JP Morgan. It is trading down and offered down 30 cents right now. So that's a little bit down. Wells Fargo is offered down a dime right now at 46.30. You got Morgan Stanley offered down 15 cents right now, 32 bucks. And this has all just changed here in the last 3 minutes since the Citigroup report, because a lot of these stocks were drifting higher on the good Goldman Sachs earnings that we got this morning. Goldman Sachs reported 460 versus 420, 8.78 billion versus 7.58 billion. So they beat nicely on the top, nicely on the bottom. It was trading up a couple bucks. It has now given back all those gains too, and is trading down 50 cents because of the Citi report.
We were talking about that. You said it was trading up to 181 and a half.
Before the report, people
before
were
the report,
banking.
people are,
Yeah.
and then it came back, and we were just talking, and I got Dennis on the bearish side of things again, and I was gonna, I thought this thing would go negative today. I didn't think it would go negative in the pre-market here. Maybe it's gonna be one of those scenarios. Well, yeah, they had a great quarter, but how are they going to repeat that again the following quarter? One of those scenarios. Supported Goldman Sachs 177. That was a low from yesterday. If it takes that out, another major support level. I'd say 177 is minor support. Major support at the double bottom, 175.69 and 175.71. That's quite a ways away, though, so don't think we'll see that unless we have a great market washout. I think Goldman could hold that 177 level.
This is concerning, though, on so many levels here, because the financials have been the leader. They've been the leader of the pack. They've made this market bounce back from the lows we saw a couple days ago here. We were approaching the highs overnight. What's the overnight, or what's the all-time high there again, Joel? Just remind the listeners there on the S&P futures.
Actually, I was going to start the show at that, but I kind of got off on a bad foot by saying it was Wednesday instead of Thursday, and you guys got all over me. But you had, I can always argue for a double top here, but you do have a double top in the S&Ps. The all-time high is 1846.50. We hit that on the last day of 2013. And then yesterday we got to 1845.75. So missed it by 3 ticks. That's the level. I guess if you want to do a major swing trade here, that's the level. Until it gets back over there, you got to be worried that this market might be turning.
Yeah, you really have to worry about it here. Just because, like I was saying, the financials have been the leader. That's been the stocks have been holding up the market. The retail sector has already been breaking down. We've had a lot of bad news from the retailers. We have more bad news from the retailers this morning with Best Buy here, which we'll get to in a second. So it is concerning that all of a sudden the leaders, which were the financials, and now you get them turning down. Then that starts to get scary here. I mean, you're looking at this. We didn't hit the tops there. If somebody was a little bit concerned there from the market sell-off from a couple days ago, they're looking at the market here now, maybe saying, maybe I should lighten up here. So 1846 holds. That's a little bit scary. So we'll have to see what happens once all these earnings digest. I mean, the Goldman Sachs numbers were pretty good. It actually is starting to trade higher here again. It's up at 179.50. So it is up 75 cents. So Goldman Sachs is going to help out a little bit here. But the Citigroup numbers were not good.
Can I give you? Yeah, I just want to give you one other number here in the S&Ps. Yesterday's low during the pre-market trading was 31.50. Okay, that's still another 6-7 points. But during the day session, the 9:30 until 5:15 close, you had a low at 1836.50. So far, the low in the pre-market is 1837.50. So I'm not gonna hit the panic sell button until we take out that 1836.50 because that was the intraday low from yesterday, and that's my number on the downside.
Everybody is hitting the panic sell button in Best Buy here this morning. The stock is down 10 points right now. Yeah, that's right. $10. Holiday sales, comps were down 0.8%, so not good on the holiday sales. Also expecting their Q4 adjusted operating income to be less than that of last year. So a couple bad things Best Buy are saying there, and that's not good news here for shareholders. This stock, believe it or not, traded down to $25 here this morning. It is now back up at 27, so it has bounced a bit, but holy cow, 5.9 million shares have traded in this issue. This is a shellacking.
Yeah, Brent, what you got on that?
I think that the comps number was definitely bad, but I think the real concerning comment here was that Best Buy said they're expecting Q4 adjusted operating income to be down about 175 to 185 basis points from last year. And then this was kind of something that I haven't seen really ever was 5 minutes after they put out that press release, there was a response from Richard Schultz. He was responding to the bad sales figures, said, let me get the highlight really quick.
And just
here.
to update you folks, Richard Schultz tried to steal this company when it was going down in, what, was it 2012?
Yeah, when it was having the cascade down to almost look like the death march there when it went from like 30 to 11. He kept putting bids above the price saying, but he couldn't get the financing, obviously, and everybody's calling his bluff on that. Man, if he would have got the company, it would have been pretty good, though, I guess.
And what was his response?
So Schultz saying he has complete faith in the long-term strategy. He's saying that today's announcement, the message behind today's announcement is very clear. Best Buy is on this journey and in this business to win, acquire, and retain new and existing customers. Like I said, never seen a direct response right after the
You knew it was
release
going to
like
be
that.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. So right away, a reassuring note coming out from, or an attempt at a reassurance from Schultz.
And Dennis, right when we hooked up with you this morning, you got a little bit dirty in this one, huh?
Yeah, I did. I figured, it's Thursday. I might as well go to the casino here, and I did a little bit of gambling in it. Pure gambling, but I actually did pick the bottom on it. I was looking at the charts, and I was like, man, we bought them at 25 in April and May a couple of times right around that whole $25 level. Well, the overnight low is 25 on the Kisser. I actually bought some stock at 25.08 and 25.15. Of course, the scalper I am, I sold in the 26 handle, so I've sold it. I got $1 out of it. It's up $2 here now, but that was pure gambling. I don't ever suggest you guys, the listeners, to be buying stocks when they're going straight down like that. I only bought a couple of hundred shares, which is just gambling money for me. I just wanted to play around with it, and I was like looking at the 25. I was like, it might bounce there. If it would have started cutting under 25, I would have been trying to get out, at whatever price I could. I probably would have been selling like 24.50 because there's so much slippage in a stock like this right now. But regardless, I made $1 on it, so I was like, that's kind of fun. So it was fun for me.
So you had time, you saw the news, you saw it go down, you had the time to pull up your chart and get an order in then, huh?
Yeah, well, I was watching as it was cascading through the entire 20s. When I got in this morning around 7 o'clock, actually about 6:50, the stock was trading at 31, and then it was trading 30, and then it was trading 29. And I was trading 28. I was trading 27. And then I'm looking at the charts. I'm like, well, where is the support? And I'm seeing all those lows at 25. And I was like, well, you know what? 25 actually is a pretty hard level. I don't think they can take it through there, and they couldn't. So it was a good call on my part. But at the same time, you never want to be buying stocks when they're going down. You want to be buying them when they're going up. So I broke a lot of rules there, but that's why I did it with very low size. Like I said, that was a gamble trade. Call that a casino trade. I'll probably lose on that as much as I'll make on it. But, levels do work. So, and the 25 was a big level.
And I know I bring this up to you, on occasion when you see something like that, and you see it at 30, then you see it at 29, and you see a level at 25 like that, and that's your expectation where it's going to go. You didn't want to hop in on the way that it was actually going and shorting it, or was it just going down too fast?
Oh, well, I just watched it. I thought it was overdone. I mean, when you start knocking stocks down 33%, yeah, obviously the holiday sales were terrible. Yeah, they're, saying the Q4, operating income isn't going to be any better than last year. Not good news. I just didn't think it was knocking it down 35%. I just saw a level there, $25 that I thought was pretty good. So I was picking bottoms, but when you pick bottoms, you can get into trouble there doing that. So I don't suggest to do that. But if you want to gamble and get a little bit dirty, obviously I wouldn't put a ton of money in something like that.
You also could get a sticky finger.
Yeah, I know. It's what Conrad used to always say, eh? One who pick bottom gets sticky finger.
But just, I guess the lesson to learn from this entire thing is, stocks can go up for a long time, and they can rally forever, a year and a half and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with taking profits when the thing is going up, because how many people that are, were sitting on nice gains, owning this thing. I mean, basically now anybody that owned this thing since mid-year is now underwater.
We just gave back half of the 2013 gains in one morning. That's incredible. I mean, this is a pretty thick stock. It's not like some little biotech company or something. This is a pretty incredible move here. But I think it was overdone. I know Charles in the Benzinga chat was saying this morning, the stock, probably wasn't an $11 stock like it was in 2012. It probably wasn't a $40 stock either like it was at the end of 2013. They kind of overdid it when they were killing it down. They probably overdid it when they were rallying it up last year. And I probably think this is probably more fair value when you start getting into these 20s on a company like this. I mean, the jury's still out. Amazon's eating their cake. We know that. So the jury's still out on a company like this, and it wasn't a good report.
And also, where were the analysts on this one?
I think the analyst, Brent, do you have any of the analyst reports there on where the price targets and where everybody was on Best Buy? Because I haven't seen a lot of bearish analysts on Best Buy lately, so I think a lot of them were pretty wrong.
Let's see. I see a total of just 2 sells on the street, and
Who's got the sells?
Let's see. Wedbush. That is the old Michael Pachter. And then the other sell, which is a very small firm, is called Maycore Capital. I've only seen like a couple notes out from them ever, so maybe we'll just say 1 sell on this one. Approaching 20 buys. So
who's got the real bad one? Who's got the highest price target?
Let's see. Street high. Let's see.
It's fun to look at.
55 looks like the street high. That was actually a SunTrust analyst, and then the street low.
He was a SunTrust analyst.
You know what, Michael?
He's cleaning out.
You know what, Michael Pachter has an $18 price target on Best Buy.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
Oh, Michael. We're giving you some props here this morning.
Yeah, we had him on a couple weeks ago. We'll have to see if we can dig him up again, because now they're all going to come in and go to neutral. We're neutral and lowering our price.
They chase the price. Like a lot of these analysts come in and obviously they chase the price down. Oh, I got the 55. Probably better lower that price target down because it's obviously not getting there. It's nice to be able to do that, but when you're playing with real money here, there's some pain there. JC Penney news, not good here as well, Joel. It was initially thought was good. I don't know what the market was thinking on this one. They are to close 33 stores, cutting 2,000 jobs, pre-tax charge $26 million in Q4. And here the stock on that initial headline, which broke after the bell yesterday, the stock popped up to $7.98. 20 minutes later, it was back down to 7. So it gave you a quick, you can probably see it on the pre-market chart there. It was a quick pop-up. Look at that little line there where it went straight up. Everybody's like, oh, this is great news. They're closing 33 stores. I was looking at this. I was like, how is this good news? I wish I would have shorted. I didn't, though. Honestly, it's hard to borrow, too inexpensive to borrow. But I could have shorted another account or got a locate on it. But right off the hop, I was like, wow, this just seems to be ridiculous that this thing's rallying on this.
Traded big volume on that bar too, so it wasn't it
They're
just
chewing through stock.
Yeah, chewing people that probably had just layers out there, right? Hidden orders, and they got out good. Now it's just in a tight range. Just broke out of it a little bit ago, but you were trading between roughly 685. Let's see what the low was here. 687 to $7 held up for the better part. About an hour here this morning, longer than that. It held up in the after hours for a little bit, and then the pre-market actually several hours here. So I'll be keeping an eye. The pre-market low, that initial spike, took it down to 683. The recent low here has been 683. We're only 11 cents away from that. Keep an eye on that, and then you just got to go a little. I know what the low of the move in this thing is, because I remember talking about double bottom at 625 and 628, something like that. That's gonna be your next level. 624 and 627. So call that whole level 625. But don't you think there'll be, if we do take out that pre-market low, don't you think there'll be some bids stacked, going ahead of that level, or you just think?
Yeah, there's so much bad news in this company. Everybody thinks this is going out of business. So eventually probably going to get some type of short squeeze on something like this here too. I mean, it obviously isn't good news when you're closing 33 stores, cutting 2,000 jobs. Like they're, starting to shut down operations here. But at the same time, short squeezes can happen. So don't be surprised if, we get some bad news, the stock starts to go down. Eventually this does get some type of short squeeze. That would just be a trade, though. I still don't like this as an investment. I still think long-term, JCPenney in a lot of trouble. But a lot of people lean in short on this thing. So that's always scary when you're coming in short in stocks. If you're shorting it here, maybe a little bit late to the party.
Dennis, there's also Yahoo is getting beat up here in the after hours and pre-market. Let's go to Brent and see what's going on with Yahoo.
So in a SEC filing from late yesterday, came out around 4:30. Company said that their COO, Dick Castro, will be leaving effective January 16th, and that's today. So this was something that was rather abrupt.
You know what else happened during the day yesterday, too, on Yahoo? Goldman Sachs removed Yahoo Japan. So just part of the company from the conviction buy list. So that was during the day. So here we are. Now we're down 85 cents on Yahoo. This is starting to look a little bit toppy here, too.
Taking a look at the pre-market trading, held the 40.80 level. That news came out. It came out last night, huh? Is that what you're telling me? Well, they waited.
Right after the bell. Yeah, right after the bell.
And they didn't start really. It kind of just hung around there. They didn't really whack it. And then someone just woke up this morning and said, "That's bad news." Took it down to 40.10. Look at that $40 level.
40's big.
Yeah.
That's got to hold. I think that could hold today.
You've had you snuck under 40.39.80 was actually the low on the 13th, and then there's just a low at 40.04. Another one 39.75, 39.82. So I don't think I think it'd get a little bit thick here between 39.80 and 40 if we take out that pre-market low. I think if we closed under 40. This thing could be in a world of hurt. Could easily see the $38 level, but hey,
I think 40 holds.
You think 40 holds today?
I think 40 holds. You know what? There's always rotation here too. I mean, we're killing the retailers. We're beating up the financials here today. The market's still only down 4 points. There's going to be some sectors picking up the slack here. Now, is Yahoo going to be the stock? I don't know. But when I see Yahoo opening down 80 cents here, a lot of people have been looking to get entries on this thing. I think you're going to see some bottom pickers coming in Yahoo around 40 bucks. I think it holds.
Okay.
I think the $40 level holds. There's nothing bad fundamental from the company. They lose an executive, but I mean, this isn't, like it's bad fundamental news on the company here. So I think the $40 holds, but who knows? Obviously, it starts cutting through there. You got to know where your out is. But $40 is a big level.
Maybe he knows something that nobody else knows, or maybe he did something really bad that's going.
All conspiracy theory here.
Yeah, but no, it's Thanks for our listener for pointing that out. So, what else can boy? We're sure having a lively show here today. I'm
We
having
have a lot of major companies reporting earnings. UNH, let's go over to that sector here for a second. United Healthcare reported earnings $1.41 versus $1.40. On the initial report, it was popping up a little bit. They beat on the top line too, just barely, 31.12 billion versus 31.07 billion. But UNH here is trading down over $1 right now. Remember your sympathy plays like CI and obviously Aetna, AET, so Humana, HUM. So keep an eye on those stocks as UNH will be your leader here today in that sector.
just slumping on the lows here. Current low in the pre-market 73.63. As you can tell by this chart here, it's slumping. It's not bumping. It's not rallying off this level. Let's go to the daily charts here. See if we can find a level here. Wow, it really vacuumed up from 70 to 74. Did that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading sessions. And now you're right back here. I do see a low under the $73 level at 72.62. So that could be a potential target on the downside. And as well as the other low on the way up was 71.67. So we'll see if it comes back up. In order to fill the gap from yesterday, you really don't have that far to go. You had a 73.99 low. So if you get a rally back up to yesterday's low, 73.90, 73.99, might get a chance to get out of this thing, pretty much. Well, it won't be in the gap, but I think a lot of people are trying to be selling this on the rebound because it's just cascading lower here as we speak. Now we
It is, and actually, if you look after hours, what was the after? It looks like it got up to 77.95. Is that right?
I think, yeah, well, let me see. It might have been an odd lot up there.
Maybe it was just an odd lot. That's what I'm logging as my high. Maybe it's just a one-shot deal. Somebody screwed up big time buying that thing at 77.95.
Yeah, well, 100 shares traded there.
Okay. So it's just somebody painting the tape probably.
And then
somebody was trying to paint the tape on that one. Didn't work that well.
Right. So we're just, well, it looks like that 72.62, 70. Yeah, what did I say? 72.62, only 30 cents away from you. So you might want to take that if you're out here shorting the thing. And what's our best sympathy play on this one?
Well, you've got a few. You've got Humana, HUM, which will move the stock. It's trading down just 13 cents right here, right now. You've got Aetna, AET. You've also got CI as another one, Cigna Corporation. So there's a few, and there's 3 or 4 other ones out there too. So you may want to just check out. And obviously, if there's some WellPoint's another one, WLP, all those could trade with this.
I guess these companies, I mean, if you look from when Obamacare was announced and everything, I guess it wasn't all bad for them. I mean, they did.
No.
I mean, the market helped them out, and they rallied quite a bit. But now that the Humana chart is not looking pretty at all.
Yeah, Humana as well. A few of these things have been looking toppy here. And yeah, Humana's been weak here probably for the last month, it looks like. Topping out at 105, tried to get up through that 105 a few times. Sold off below 100 late in December, tried to rally back up there, could not. Now it's back down here. Pretty hard level at 95 bucks. I'd like to see that hold, obviously, on the Humana. That's the big level probably. And there's actually 10,000 shares they're bidding on the New York book. It's the only thing I see of significant size in the book. That's not that big, though.
Okay.
So 95, fairly big. CSX also reported earnings. Let's move over into the transports here a little bit. They reported in line 42 cents versus 42 cents, 3 billion versus 2.98 billion. So missed or actually beat on the top just slightly, in line on the bottom. Obviously not good enough here. They wanted a little bit more. 28 bucks is looking like a big level though. It's traded a lot of stock here right now, 28 even.
Let's see. I mean, the stock's had a nice run. Pulling back, disappointing the street. You do have support at the $28 level. That was also the low. Well, you had a 28.05 low here on January 8th. If that area does not hold, you do have a double bottom just below that at 27.77, exact on the nose. So traded down on a little bit of volume here, but coming into support.
Also, Stifel Nicholas is downgrading the stock here this morning after that earnings report. They are also downgrading a sympathy play, NSC, Norfolk Southern, which is actually trading an offer down $1 here right now. So you're going to see a little bit of weakness in the trains.
Yeah, trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yeah, and then it's not all bad news here today. We're giving you a lot of bad news here, so let's try to pick you up a little bit. Chuck E. Cheese, CEC, getting bought. This was rumored last week. Stock popped from like $43 to over $49 on the rumors that they might find a buyer for this company, and it looks like they have found a buyer for this company. Apollo Global Management, which is symbol APO, is offered to buy the company for $54 a share in cash. Interesting enough, it's actually trading above the $54 takeout price. It's funny how these things seem to do that lately. 54.40 is where it's trading right now, so it's trading 40 cents above that $54 takeout price.
Are you kidding me? Is someone
Mhm.
actually buying this company?
Yeah, what's wrong with Chuck E. Cheese? Everybody likes Chuck E. Cheese.
Have you ever been in a Chuck E. Cheese?
I've been actually, you know what? I think I got barred from a Chuck E. Cheese when I was a little kid. You want to hear a story? I'm a little kid. I'm 5 years old, and I was in the Chuck E. Cheese. My parents took me to Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if it was my birthday or what it was for. I can't remember that. But I do remember this is one of my early childhood memories. And I'm playing that skee ball there. And I'm like, you know, and my parents, I'm like, how do I play? You know, what do I do? I'm 5 years old. Tell me what to do. They're like, just throw the ball. You know, so I pick up the ball overhand, I wheel it at the glass, and it goes smack right on that hard plexiglass. I was trying to put it through the glass, and my parents picked me up and took me out of there, and they never brought me back there again. So that was my only Chuck E. Cheese story.
Oh, I've had some terrible experiences there. Oh man, and so is Chubbs. I can tell you about Chubbs' story here in a second. But you know those, the things with all the little balls, and the kids go in there and they step in and they take the balls and they throw. Well, these kids plan it out, okay, and they start picking on your kid, okay. So then your kid's in there crying, and you go in there and bail them out, and then the other kids start throwing balls at you. I mean,
They set you up.
yeah, they set you up, and you
These
know,
kids, conniving
and
kids.
also at those places, you buy the tickets, you spend like $30 in tickets, and you get these tickets, and you go up to the counter, and you get like a yo-yo. I mean, I could have bought it. Well, who makes yo-yos? I can't even think. I could have bought the entire company, and it's one of those yo-yos that lights up, so the kids playing it. As soon as you walk out of the Chuck E. Cheese, it stops working.
The glow in the dark doesn't
Yeah,
work anymore when
yeah.
you walk out of
Yeah,
there.
but you
That's
had
a genius business model, though, there, Joel. Imagine you're not even selling those yo-yos for like $10. You got to win the yo-yo for $10. That's a genius business model. We should have known that. We should have been all over this just a few days ago. Why didn't you tell me this a few days ago? I've been buying this thing and making 6 points here today.
And also, you got to watch out for the parents in those places too. I mean, they.
What's wrong with the parents?
Oh man, well, and Joe just mentioned this. He's taking a quick coffee break here, but they limited the parents to 1 drink per hour because.
Well, I don't know about that in the business
Yeah,
model.
because I guess these parents.
Now I'm definitely never going to Chuck E. Cheese.
The parents just just go absolutely crazy in there. I guess they take it on from the kids fighting, and they've had some major brawls there. If
Crawling over the yo-yos?
just the yo-yos, maybe a counterattack from the ball incident or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Gotta wear like army gear when you go in there.
You know what I suggest to Apollo Group, that they buy Taser, okay, and they
That's a natural combination, Chuck E. Cheese and Taser.
Yeah.
You got to taser these kids when they get out of control, so there should be a whole lineup of tasers in there. So that's just a natural sympathy play here, Taser and Chuck E. Cheese.
yeah, unbelievable here. But Joanne's asking about a stock here that we haven't talked about in a while. SRPT.
I remember this one. That was getting slaughtered there last time we were talking about it back in mid-November. What's the story here, Brent? You got SRPT news here today? Because we are popping 19%. I'll go to my leaderboard. Let's see where SRPT is on the leaderboard. Leaderboard. It is number 2 behind Zoom. Zoom is number 1. SRPT is number 2, up 19%. Brent, what's the news?
nice rally here. Last night had some news that the company's Ediplursin demonstrates continued stability on a walking test through 120 weeks in the Phase 2B trial. And that's all you need for a company like Sarepta. Off to the races we go.
Okay, Joanne is. It's kind of you got a question there, and that's a real good question because you don't know. I don't know if you bought this thing in the whole vacuum. I know the stock is traded much higher than this. Let's see if we can go to the monthlies here. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this stock was a wild child. Got up to 50, $60. And I can remember when the SEC came out, and or not the SEC, the FDA came out, caused this vacuum down. They said that they were being too aggressive in their trials, was what they said. So you're getting a pop up here. Keep an eye. Pre-market high has been, well, the initial spike took it over 24. But seems to be some resistance here at 24. I guess the best thing with this, Joanne, is that you want to see this momentum continue. I mean, it's opened up, it's opening up quite a bit, it's gapping up. It's just a question is does it have the gap? Actually, it's walked up here if you look at it on the intraday.
Pre-market chart.
Yeah, I mean they stair step this thing all the way up to $24. So that's a little different technical pattern than when it just gaps up. Dennis, it looks like there's some pretty serious buyers
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
better when you're seeing it step up as opposed to gap up because that means obviously price is memory from the entire pre-market and it's been moving up. It's traded 199,000 shares. So it's not like it's all of a sudden up here and there's nothing below you. There's some people that have bought this thing below and sold this thing below too, which does help you a bit there. And if you're looking at the charts, it's so hard to give you levels on this one there, Joanne, because you were in the whole gap area down from November where when we gapped down from $36 all the way down to 12. So there's all air in here all over the place. It's really hard to predict. Obviously, we can't give you buy or sell recommendations here on the show, so we can't answer your question directly. And just tell you, from a levels perspective, you're getting into a gap area and there's not that much in here. So you always get a lot of information right from the open too. Like sometimes these things will open and they start giving it back right away. That's sometimes, a tell that, they might fade this a little bit, but if they open it and then it starts to rally from there, then you can use the open as a reference price too. So difficult to tell you what to do on this one because you were in a lot of air.
Well, also, I mean, it all depends if you happen to pick a little bit of a piece up at this after the gap down and now you're sitting on a profit. One thing that we talk about is taking off part of the position, and letting part of it
Sometimes
ride.
thing to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
up into some stocks. Sometimes that's what I do too when I don't know what to do and I'm sitting up here and the stock's up 20% for me this morning. I'm like, yeah, sometimes I lighten up the position and take off part of the position. It's never a bad idea to book some of your profits too, because we can see what happens in a stock like Best Buy. All of a sudden the thing comes out with bad news and all your profits are gone overnight. So never, I guess, what Kramer always says, you can't go wrong taking a profit. I don't know if I totally agree with that sometimes, but either way here, this is a tricky one to call.
What about New Skin?
Holy cow, NUS. Taken to the cleaners yesterday here. Brad, tell us about the People's Report. So yesterday, during the day, that came out this People's Daily Report basically saying there's some problems over there with China, and now China is going to probe into them this morning. They're announcing overnight here, which is knocking down another $20. But give us the overall gist of what was reported there yesterday, Brent.
All right, so I'm going to take it back maybe a little bit further. So shares were down about 4% on the 3rd. That was when did we hit that all-time high, Dennis, you were pointing out?
We literally hit an all-time high 4 trading sessions ago. No, 3 trading sessions ago. We got up to 140.50, and I don't think we got above that any other time. So 140.50, 3 trading sessions ago, and this thing's at $96 right now. So you are 45 points below the all-time high that we hit 3 days ago.
So on the 3rd, there was reports of an FTC investigation that kind of took the stock down a little bit on the 3rd, and then back up to the all-time high, and then the China Daily Report. Remember, this is in Chinese, so actually anything that you look at on the China Daily Report is going to be translated and probably very badly translated, but essentially the China Daily Report was saying that the company was paying their salespeople with a bonus structure and kind of classifying this as an illegal pyramid scheme.
Whoa.
Definitely not the phrase that you want to hear. New Skin did respond to this report. They said there was inaccuracies and exaggerations. I noted a Deutsche Bank analyst yesterday kind of defending New Skin, saying that the China Daily Report was unfounded. That analyst was telling investors to buy the dip, And then this morning, what's knocking the stock down is there was a report from a publication called Shen, which said that China's Ministry of Commerce is going to check into Nu Skin's operations following the China Daily Report.
I was talking with Chris Banier there, who we've had on the show before, because I knew he had a position in this one. And I was like, how'd you make out there with that new skin here? You know, what are you doing? He says, rule number one, this was his text to me. Rule number one, when a Chinese play starts going down on rumors and stuff like this, exit as quickly as possible. He sold the open yesterday, which was a genius move to get out of that, out of his position there. He got out at the 127.5 area. And obviously now we're down at 96. So it gave you a quick shot. It didn't open down that much. And congrats, Chris. He was quick to get out of this one. And you got to be quick sometimes. You know, when you're seeing stuff like this happen, you know, question marks in China equals sells, what Chris says. And that's, you know, where we're at right now. Obviously now you get to a point where maybe it's gone too far. I don't know. But Chris said I wouldn't touch it right now with those question marks there.
Is there an example? I mean, is he looking at the? I mean, is there some stocks that have had a similar pattern before with the Chinese government, or?
There definitely is. I can't think any tickers on that, but I can remember through the last year or two, there's been a few companies there. You know, when you get question marks there and you see China companies all of a sudden go down 70-80% because some funny stuff happens over there. It's different regulations, different oversight, and you know, some crazy stocks can happen. And you can get some companies operating some pretty sketchy stuff. I'm not saying Nu Skin is. Obviously, there's just inquiries there, but the market is always nervous with China, especially when you're getting, you know, the Chinese government looking into it now. They're saying that's, you know, scary here. So I think I'd wait for the dust to settle on this one. Hard to trade something technically here when there's so much fundamental news.
I mean, isn't that like the NQ Mobile story? Isn't that kind of
there you go. The
one?
Muddy Waters report. Yeah, there you go. Brent with our back there. Yeah, NQ, obviously we saw a stock go from 25 bucks down to 9. It's starting to come back here now. Actually, that NQ chart's not looking that bad. It's starting to move up here. But you know, there's question marks over there. So, and there's question marks in this Nu Skin right now.
Let me just briefly go over the technicals here. You did hit 90.26 here not too long ago and gotten a nice bounce up. Now the $100 level's coming into play, bumped up against it a few times. If you go a little bit longer out here, it's kind of hard to tell on the weeklies, but you did have a weekly low at the $90 level, so let's keep an eye on that on the downside. If it can chew back or get above that $100 level, I'm sure people are just going to be throwing offers up, you know, along the way to get out. To fill the gap, you need to get to yesterday's low, another 8 points higher at 108.02. So there's your early trading parameters in Nu Skin, 90 and 108.
Let's give some good news again. I'm feeling down. So many bad stocks and so much bad stuff happening here today. Hewlett Packard, HPQ, getting upgraded at Bank America and is popping and breaking out here today. This is a new 52-week high for Hewlett Packard. 29.38 it's trading at right now after closing at 28.84. I used to actually pair Hewlett Packard with Best Buy a little bit just because obviously Best Buy sells, you know, they're one of the main places that sells the Hewlett Packard products. But they've, you know, they really separated there for a bit. Best Buy obviously was a lot higher. Well, now all of a sudden, Best Buy share price is lower than Hewlett Packard.
Wow, nice pop here in the pre-market. You got up above the 29.50 level, got to 29.59, so we'll keep an eye on that. You've had a pullback from the 29.59 level, but not a lot here. Only been able to pull back to right where we're trading at now, 29.38, 20.40. So the pop up, and it's just really not giving it back a whole lot. The breakout was from the 28. Where'd we have a couple tops up there? 28. Well, yesterday's high was 29.07. So kind of broke out yesterday above all those highs at 27.80. Got above 29 and now finishing the move. I guess I'd stick with the one on the long side, but if the market got weak and we fell back below 29, I think I would be a little bit cautious on the long side. And if you want a long-term perspective on this thing, it hasn't traded 30 bucks. You need to go back to 2012. In February of 2012, it hit 30 right on the nose.
Yeah, that's actually, I made an investment in Hewlett Packard back, I think, and this is a bad spot. I think I bought it back there in 2012, my portfolio, or 2011 on the way down. I was like, $30 is pretty big. And the thing went straight down on me like to 24, 23, and I actually ended up selling it in the 20s somewhere. And that wasn't a trade, that was an investment. But I was like, I don't like this long-term prospects on Hewlett Packard. I guess if I would have held, I guess I would have got my money back here now. But I mean, there was a lot of heat I would have been taking. The thing went down to $12 or something, or $11.35 back in November of 2012. So I would have taken a lot of heat, but I think about the people that did hold through that, and that 30 was a big level. And I wonder if this thing gets back up into the 30 area, people are going to be willing to take some money off the table.
On the longer term chart here, I put it really, I mean, that's like a beautiful head and shoulders bottom there. If you'd been going through your monthly charts on this thing, I mean, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then, the bottom here. But
Yeah.
if it continues, $30, we'll see if that's a good level.
Let's look at a few other ones here. Let's go into some of the social media stocks. We haven't talked about them for a couple days. Twitter had a good day yesterday. It was popping up $3 there, kind of breaking out and starting to look halfway decent on the chart here again. It is holding up pretty strong. Like we said, money always wants to flow. It seems to not flow out of the market. It seems to flow into other sectors. And you've got the financials week today. You got some of the retailers week today. It's going to want to look for a home somewhere. I wonder if it looks for a home in some of these, well, it could look in some of the tech stocks, but I wonder if it looks in a place like Twitter too. What do you think?
I was discussing this one with Luke, who did a little article on the short interest, and it just looked like it was winding up. It hit that $55 level. Didn't quite get to the major support at 55. It made it
Double bottom down there too.
Well, you know what I told him, and I had not seen this kind of formation in a long time. You on the daily, have you ever seen a double bottom on top of a double bottom? You had a 55.89 and then 55.87, and then the next two sessions with 57.29 and 57.36. And I just think that it might have been the same buyer just stepping up to saying, okay, I can't get this thing under 56. I'm paying up, and moved his area up to the 57.30. Had a nice rally yesterday. 61.75 was the high. Keep an eye on that level because you had a high kind of in that area a little bit lower at 61.26. I mean, the way this thing trades, you got to call that, 50 cents. It's a pretty wide range. I'd call 61.50 an area. I'd like to see it hold that. It's trading down in the pre-market. Getting a bounce, but surely not like the bounce that it had when it came down to the 57 area, 57 or 58.57 on the way down. It popped back up to 70. This time you go lower and you're not getting the biggest bounce. So see what happens in Twitter. Certainly needs to take out that 61.75.
60 is big too. I mean, the 60 was the level before. 60 bounced and tested. 60 cut through and it was trying to retest and it took it out yesterday. $60 is big. For the Bulls to make a case in this one. This stock needs to hold 60, but I think they might make that case. I like the upside on Twitter better than the downside right now. And Facebook here has slowly bounced back. It had a rough day 3 days ago with the overall market selling off the 3 points, but it's got all the losses back here, and we're actually not that far off the all-time highs here for Facebook. We're only $1.50 off here now. We got as high as 58.96. We get in the 58 handle. We know we've had resistance before, but
wow.
I wonder if we're like winding up here to eventually start making new highs on Facebook. What do you think?
Wow. You've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 highs, over the last couple weeks, 3 weeks in the 58 handle. You've had one close above 58 at 58.23. I know you might be looking for a breakout to new highs here, but I think this thing's looking a little bit toppy here. It kind of really for the better part of a month and a half, 2 months, you've been trading between. You had a low at 53.75, but it's been pretty much 54, 58, 54, 58. Snuck back over the $58 level again. I'd be a little bit leery here on the long side. If it closed above 58, then it'd be another thing, but sure looks like someone. It's really working out. And also, Dennis, you remember this 58 level because when it popped up on earnings and had that crazy move, it got up to 58 again. So someone definitely has opinion on it. Well, we need to take a quick break, and we got a very special guest coming on the show again. We have Fari Hamzel. Hamzi, yeah, too. Founder of a company with the same name, Analytics. He's an aggressive equity options and index futures trend trader. He's nationally ranked market timer and author of Masters Traders. We're going to take a quick break and be back with Fari. Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Fari Hamzi, founder of Hamzi Analytics, and a very lively and entertaining guest. And we have a lively and entertaining market on our hands today. But at first, I'd like to start out. I know you like to follow the S&P futures very closely here. We made a double. You could call it a double top here at the 1846 level. Is that gonna be a short-term high here, or are we gonna just
possible trading range there? We expect it to go higher, as you know. As I put it on Twitter last night, our daily model went long last night. It wasn't short, and Monday looked really good. But if you look at the Monday and Tuesday, by the way, we did a statistical run on that. The chances of Monday and Tuesday back-to-back in the last 36 months were less than 1.3%.
Of them both being down?
So what is that, guys? That's an anomaly.
That both of them being down, you mean?
Bring down and up, that size, back-to-back.
Oh, down,
So,
then
no.
up, back-to-back like that.
Hey,
So
down and up,
1%.
back-to-back, and that size in terms of percentage.
Yeah,
The
'cause we did
chance
the
of
whole
that
range
occurring in
down.
the last 36 months were less than 1.3%. So what is that?
We basically did the whole year range so far down, and then the whole year range back up.
So, yeah, exactly. Yesterday close was above Monday high. So between now, let's not worry about yesterday. But I'm talking about just Monday and Tuesday. That's where we had our test yesterday. Yes, statistical anomaly. It's kind of we use what's called a limb machine, logical information machines.
Okay.
Well, my associate has we're about to be able to. I mean, the wherewithal of handling that kind of expensive software. And it needs also, you need to man it. You need the right person asking the right question. As they say in the old technology business, you're garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't ask the right question, you're not going to get the right answer. So what does it tell you? That tells me that was an anomaly.
Okay.
And with the Janet Yellen put in play, guys, see this as just a little ant on a wall 3 months from now.
So you think we're going to move a lot higher here yet?
Look at NASDAQ. That tells the earning season is going to be good for the tech companies. What fuels this economy is the technology. We always have, we always will.
Okay.
So that's what you're
what we need to do, those of you who go, pardon me?
You like those stocks the best going forward? You're focusing on the tech stocks to be the leaders here, maybe coming in?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I expect Google to do very well. I'll be back here in 2 weeks. Google will be reporting. Guys, I thought Google was going to report today. The objective of today's discussion with you guys were how to put a lot of trade together. Well, it won't happen because it's not trading today. It's not going to report today. So we'll talk about it on the 30th. My objective actually was that maybe possibly we could talk about market timing because I think that's everybody's talking about. And our system changed last night. I also sent in some charts last night. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it or not. These are the charts we typically post on our market timing feed. We have a Twitter feed called Hunter Killer Sub. Hunter Killer Sub. And on Saturdays, we put charts up, but we also, as warranted, update. But it's your show. I'm just PDI. So you ask the questions, and
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to answer.
I got
Which stocks? So you like Google going forward. Which other tech stocks do you like, Fari?
Believe it or not, I like Netflix.
I want to ask
Believe
you
it or
about
not, I
that.
like Netflix.
I'd like to ask you about
and
that
last
one.
couple of times, it just burned my hands. But there's an old saying here that says when you have to take your keyboard underneath the table and trade that stock, that's probably a good trade.
Okay.
That is, you don't want to see the action. It's horrible. You know why? Because it's also horrible for others.
I want to ask
When
you
your
about
knees are
this one.
shaking, that's probably a good trade you should be getting in.
I wanted to ask you about this one because the last time you were on the show, you were riding the wave up on this, and it was up near the 380 level. I don't know if you had some call spreads or what, but you were.
We had call spreads and got wiped out instantly because first I was out of the country for 2 days, and at that time it looked tame, and we also put another call spread below it because we kind of gave up on the first one, and but the selling never stopped. So we said, you know what? We'll it's a call spread. So we'll the amount was not small. I realized that, but it wasn't huge either. And we said, look, you know what? This dog will turn around and be a beauty again. We just have to be patient for it. You know, there's yes.
Are you putting more call spreads on here now on Netflix at this price? Because it's a lot.
No,
lower
I'm not. No, we're fine Netflix. No. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, anything we talk about, I do Reg FD. I will tell you what we're doing. I have to. That's how I operate. You see it on Twitter too. For example, we're bearish on Boeing. Okay.
Bearish Boeing.
Bearish. So we are a long put spread. And I noticed Boeing last night closed below the official close. You know, we closed at 3 o'clock, but in the aftermarket it was lower. I made a comment immediately after that. Also, says Reg FD, we're long a put spread. Why? The OI data, the open interest. Remember, guys, I trade very technically. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't listen to news or rumors and what I call Comedy Central, not CNBC, but Comedy Central, Hashmark. Yeah, Hashmark Comedy Central says. I don't listen to that stuff. You know why? If I have something that's working, why do I need to pollute it? You know what I'm saying? If I have a approach that I have, charts, data, quantitative, technical, why do I need to pollute it? And chase a rumor. I don't do that. So I look at, I run an algo. Most of the stuff I do also, by the way, is in-house. I don't do it because the more you have an indicator that's used by a lot of people, guess what happens? It drops its value.
So what's your bearish
if we're
thesis
all
on
long,
Boeing?
there's not much to gain on the upside, right? Or if we're all short. So I try to do my own indicators.
Yeah.
It has to be true and tested. It'll take a long time to get there. I know that. It's a sample size issue. So I'm patient. As long as I have other algorithms that buys me my next carton of milk, I'm okay. I'm cool. I'll work on these, all right? So my OI algorithm said, for example, 530 on Apple. Stock was 560. We went and bought a put a spread. Okay? And we covered at 540 because it maxed out. Okay? Remember, we don't put it, there's an old saying that says, leave some profit for the other guy. If you leave a profit for the other guy, remember Scarface? Yeah. If you leave some profit for the other guy, you get filled. If you want all of it yourself, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, too greedy.
Exactly.
Don't get too greedy.
So what's your thesis on Boeing here? You said your Q's coming
125. The OI data says we should be seeing 125 before February expiration.
The open interest in the puts is giving you that indication. Has there been a surge in the value?
Puts and calls, and also dollar values. It's the dollar values also. You do not do it just by contracts. Contracts is the old way. You need algorithms that crunch the numbers and look at what was paid for. Always follow the money.
Okay, so there's heavy put buying here?
I'm sorry?
heavy put buying you're seeing, or selling of calls? Is that what you're seeing in Boeing right now?
It's the algorithm sees it. Algorithm says what the pressure is between amount of money is paid for the calls, amount of money is paid for the puts in that particular expiration. Okay, we can't do Jan. Jan is done. Tomorrow's expiration of Jan.
Yeah.
So, you guys look at you have some window to, play this play. But it says that we should be hitting 125. Yeah. How does it inside? I'm not going to get into it. That's proprietary.
What put spread do you
But
have?
basically, in the aggregate, it looks at the money that came in.
Okay, no, that's a great explanation for it. You're watching the flow.
Well,
and
we
the
also
money.
said that Tesla should go to 152, and the stock was at 140. We bought call spreads.
So that one worked.
Now, I didn't know they're going to have extra deliveries. Nobody knew. Look what it said. I mean, obviously, we were chicken. We didn't buy the call spreads wide enough. Why? Volatility is too high. But you know what? We made a lot of soup money. We can buy soup money for east of Mississippi, all day with that trade. I mean, you got to be reasonable. Look, as Steve Shobin said, the head of options for Merrill and then the technical analysis for Lehman, he says, we're dealing with probabilities and possibilities. If you go for a certain thing and bet the farm, one day it's not going to work.
Right.
And then you're going to be out there working for Obama.
And what about Tesla now? It ran into some problems at the 170 level. I remember it had a large area consolidation between 160 and 170 on its way up. Got a little bit above it yesterday. So are you inclined to play it from the short side, or are you just going to wait for another entry?
Oh, I'm done with that. I'm looking for a next OI.
You're looking for
I'm done with it.
setup.
You're done.
Yeah, I just use it in stock for my purposes. I'm done with it. It's out.
Okay, and
It used to be a girlfriend. We broke up. Does that make sense? Okay, well, I'm in the next. I'm looking for a next girlfriend.
That always.
So
makes
it
sense.
just didn't work. I mean, that time worked very well. But right now, I don't have any more OI data. Maybe I have to wait for a March data to come in. You know what I'm saying? We have to. You get it. But there are so many out there, right? It's just a matter of putting your name to work, taking a look at the chart, look at your momentum, and then you go to your option chain. You look at what kind of volatility I have, what kind of a spread, what kind of delta it gives me. For example, on the Boeing, there was a very lively discussion in our chat room yesterday about why did I chose this, this combo versus another one. And we have a couple of guys who run the fund. One of them asked a very nice question, very smart question. I showed them, listen, your issue is also what kind of delta you have, right? The Greeks, you're in options. You need to look at your delta. I know OptionHouse, this is OptionHouse show. Let me talk about a little bit there.
Sure.
I want to do a call spread or put spread. Why? I want to crush on the other side. I buy one, sell the other. So I crush the vol on one side, A. B, I'm looking at what delta I have. If my delta is too low, that means what? We're out of money, right? That means you're out of money. You sit there and wait for that ship to come in. Sometimes these things, when they line up on a chart, they're imminent. You cannot afford to have a low delta. Remember, I'm not just options for trade on the floor, where it's just numbers. I could mix charts, option chain data, and go to quantitative methods to compute things like put call or OI data. It's a laboratory. You got to spend some time to come up with a trade.
Speaking of that, we had George Ruhana on earlier in the week, and he was talking about implied volatility and historical volatility. And do you where's that? Does that fit into your formulas as well?
Absolutely. Constantly look at it. Actually, a great source I use is ivolatility.com. And we also have some volatility measures we do ourselves. We use iVolatility as a benchmark to check, to make sure we're on the right track, because you can never say you're always right. There are times you're going to be proven wrong, and you just want to look at that, check your thesis. Yeah, my advice to young traders is develop a thesis, make sure you test it, make sure you bend it around and see where breaking points is, where your limits are. Make sure your bet size is correct, and always keep an eye on volatility and delta. Two most critical items I want to see on my option chains. What's the volatility? What's the delta? Now, delta volatility doesn't change much if you do a spread, but you do want to see what your delta is going to be because a spread makes a big difference in your delta. The issue is your combined delta.
That iVolatility.com site, I actually used to subscribe to that for years. They've got some cool scanners there. They've got a lot of good stuff. That's actually a pretty good site. I'm not as much of an option trader as I was probably 5 or 6 years ago. I'm starting to get back into it though. But you still use that iVolatility.com site then, Fari? And
yes, I do. Yeah, I do. And actually, I also get it on my Droid. I get it on my Droid Max, and this screen is it's large enough where I can see what I need. Just let's say I'm at lunch and having a bowl of soup somewhere here in West Loop, and something comes up. Maybe I get a tweet or something from a friend or one of my moderators. Yeah, I'll jump to take a look, see how the volatility looks now, before I get back here and then dive into whatever data we have ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of VIX equivalent, what's called VIX compliant volatility. I mean, we had a VIX for our S&P 500 names, individual names. But I can give you a Google VIX, what the VIX looks like on a Google. The same logic that the VIX is computed. Because you're trying to get to what's called a pure volatility. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then that obviously that's one of your, you can figure out where you're going to make the move there. I think that what I'm getting from all of this obviously is you really have a lot of factors and a lot of variables that go into your trading strategies, and you're only going to execute when all of those variables are lining up, correct?
Exactly. I tell people, when we have a beep, there's a beep comes in the chat room that says be ready. I guess get your missile keys, but I'm not told them to turn it yet. I said get your missile keys out. We're going to a launch mode. But everything has to line up. I'm looking at a bunch of other stuff coming in. And you know what? Sometimes the difference could be 45 minutes. Sometimes could be a day. For example, I have a list now. One of the things I want to look at for between today and tomorrow. All right? Now, option trades coming up. For example, guys, Morgan Stanley, okay? One of my favorite investment banks. And I miss Goldman. Yesterday we were so busy. That's another great company. I miss Goldman. I don't know what they've done this morning. I just walked in and you guys called, so glad to be with you guys. But my point is, I'm probably going to be long on Morgan Stanley. Now the issue becomes, what kind of a long? So we spent a little bit this morning trying to put the trade together. And by the way, on earnings, we like to be in trades for the next day or that afternoon, no later than 1 o'clock. Okay, with the exception of lotto trades. Lotto trade is the last half an hour, because usually lotto trades do not line up until the last half an hour. And we usually put, for example, for Google, coming up in 2 weeks, we'll go 2 trades. One average trade with a decent average return. Expectations, obviously, a priori. And then we also come in the last half an hour, where then you're going to get some discrepancy and probably cannot do a lot of it. That's one issue. Sometimes you cannot get to do everything done because you know what? You can't find enough suckers on the other side. Okay,
right.
Take it. Remember, lotto. Remember, when I'm taking a lotto trade, that means somebody on the other side could go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. If he takes all of it, If he takes all of it, he may be tomorrow is maybe his last day.
Okay,
the market maker.
One thing that you mentioned before about when you're doing the options and you're going into detail about it, about the factors that go into it. You mentioned that there's got to be a catalyst, and now we're in the midst of earnings season, and there's some big stocks that have had some big moves, some analyst upgrades. I know you're following the big cap stocks. Now you got a stock like Intel today, who got a great upgrade a few days ago, broke out. Now it's you're flying high here. You got earnings after the close today.
What is that today? That reports today, Intel, right?
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Bravo, yeah.
So you don't have anything. You don't have anything on in Intel as we speak, correct?
No, we're flat right now, but we will have something by the end of the day.
And
we won't miss Intel. We usually will play it. I'm leery about the $26 stock. Keep that in mind. There's so much you can do, but percentage-wise, you can probably get a bang out of it. It just, it's not a Google. It's not. You can't put $300 and make 10,000 like we did last time on Google.
Okay.
Are you playing this from the long side or the short side, Fari? Intel.
On Intel?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm bringing my I call my swing chart on that shows me monthly. By the way, I'm a multi-time frame guy. As I look at the charts monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly. Okay,
Yeah.
and I got to make sure that I understand all of it. Okay, 3 sigma on daily. Are you guys with me? We're at 3 sigma. That is 99.97% of travel has already happened. So, and in the last 3 days, this thing has gone through the roof. We've hit the high of yesterday was three standard deviations from the mean. All right. So for me to go long here is going to be tough.
Yeah, because the move you think you think it might already be priced in.
It's already priced in. It's already priced in. Now they want suckers like me. No, thank you. I'll have more tea.
And so you're not gonna play this one, or if you play
I'm not going to play on the long side. I may want to do a wall crush. Remember, if it's got 3 sigma, the walls are juiced up.
Could you
So I may
explain that?
go and
Explain
say,
that?
I want
Explain
to stay in the range. Bravo. I just want to stay in the range and crush the walls.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's a different way of skinning a cat, right?
Yeah.
And it all comes from experience. I mean, and you know what? There's no schooling for this. Princeton didn't teach me this. UCLA Graduate School of Management didn't teach me this. This stuff is in the trenches. You got to get beaten up a couple of times, and you get your hands burnt, and you learn a lesson.
Sorry, we're getting
Expensive tuition.
We're getting some questions from the chat. They want to know about crushing
Please.
the vols. Explain it when you say crushing the vols. What do you mean?
That means that I will sell the call and the put
Sell
within a
both.
wide range,
Capture
which I
both.
believe the stock is going to stay in between.
Yeah, so you're basically capturing the volatility is what you're doing.
Yeah, but you need to have some capital in that account, right?
Capturing premium.
Yeah, because you're short both, so you need to have some dollars, mucho dineros in the account. Okay, I mean that's the only thing that's going to work because they want margin, right?
Correct.
But I'm crushing it on both. One side is going to be right, one side is not going to be. Hoping it's going to stay within the range, and that's why the standard deviation charts come in.
Right. Okay.
It all comes back to statistics, guys.
No,
It all comes down back to statistics. Why do you think all of this started here in Chicago? This option stuff. Because University of Chicago. That was the heavy-duty finance, crunching numbers, quantitative analysis. It's all here. It's all started in Chicago in 73.
I'm looking at the option chain right now for Jan on Intel, and 2650. This was the close because obviously options aren't open yet today until for another 24 minutes.
Right.
But
Let me go there quickly as you were speaking. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 26.5 for Jan were 75 cents on the calls and 58 cents on the put. So basically, you're looking there as about $1.40, right? Somewhere in that.
No. Whoa. There are 2 different strikes. What's the call? The call and puts are 2 different strikes.
The same strike. You're going to go outside strikes. So
Right,
yes,
but also I will sell the top and sell the bottom of the standard deviations. Here, let me give you some guidelines.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I'll probably sell the 24 puts, okay, and 27 calls.
Okay.
Let's see what was the high yesterday.
49 cents.
High was 27. Let's say 28. Do you have it? What do you have for 28?
20 cents.
Okay, what's the other side?
On the 24s you were looking?
Hold on, let me open it up. Hold on, this is January 18, 24. Okay. First of all, January 18, you're not going to have any juice in there. Right? January 18 is got 1 day to go.
So you're going the Febs.
I got to go at least, you can go to weeklies. Go Jan 24th. Okay? So here, 27th, I'm getting, where's my vol here on,
Do you go?
you know what?
Do you go
The-
equal?
the-
Do you go?
I'm getting the trade station there that's not updated because of I think market makers. Because market is not open. Hold on, let me go to Trade Monster quickly. Hold on.
Do you? So you'll do it
Yes, sir.
equal strike prices. Like right now, it's trading. When you're going to do this crush, let's say it's trading at 26.67. Are you going to do like these
Right.
27.50s and the 25.50s? Or are you going to do the?
No, I look at standard deviation.
Okay.
I look at where the chart standard deviations are. Here, there comes my Intel. Hold on. Here it goes. I look at my chart deviations are, as I said. I look at where probabilistically is not going to go there. Okay. So if you take zero sig is at 25.5. Okay. There's a good chance it'll go and touch that. So then I've lost that put, right? So I don't want to do that. What I want to do, I'll take like 27, 24 or 24.5 versus most likely at 28, because I want to be outside of, if you're crushing the ball, you want to be outside the price range, right?
You don't want to get.
If you fall within most probable price range, you're going to get hit. I don't want to get hit. I want to have this thing go expire. Remember, I've sold it.
Yep. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does here.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, you just, this is what Admiral's one of the guys who ran, he was one of the 6 or 8 guys, whatever, that did the hybrid for SIBO. One of the largest market makers ever. He used to trade against Steve Fawcett. He's one of my mentors. If Steve Fawcett is the guy with Virgin Atlantic that went up to the Stratosphere and all that, then he died in Denver on a flight or whatever.
Yeah, I remember him.
$100 million man. Yeah, not too many people could trade against Admiral because of his size, except Steve was one of the anomalies. But what I learned from Admiral, working with him, was that market makers on the floor, they're looking at the next 3 ticks. That's what they're protected for. That's why they don't understand market timing. Because all they're concerned about is the next 3 ticks, or 5 ticks, so to speak. I combine the two. I use what the Admiral has taught me, look at my charts as a long-term trader, and I mix the two. I said, okay, what does it make sense? What is volatility tells me? I have to be cognizant of what I've learned from the Admiral, but also I have to understand what I have developed myself, which is probabilities and possibilities. The greatest thing about Sigma channels, which is not my idea. Sigma goes back 400 years from Ottoman Empire. It's based on the birth of the statistics. Is that the vibration of a stock, okay, has a pattern. It's called volatility, okay? And volatility cycles always are more predictable, keyword here is more predictable than stock cycles, okay, price cycles. So if you combine the two, you will have an edge in this market.
Okay, well, let's look at another stock that reports earnings today, and it doesn't kind of have the the parabolic move that and the standard deviation move that the Intel does.
Hit me. What is it?
Cap One Financial, COF, bumping up against the $78 level.
COF, with the fancy commercials.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Nordic commercials. All right, sure.
Okay, so 78.
I'll be positive on this. I'd say I don't know what the whisper numbers are and so forth, but it looks to be the chart pattern is positive. If we do not challenge the 76, most likely we're going to see it in 80s.
Okay, so this one's a pretty good mover off of off expiration. So you'd be more prone to play this one with
on the upside. I would be more to have something on the upside. I think, by the way, the key word out there now is in the hedge community, the financial are going to surprise us in this EPS.
And they have been, except Citigroup this morning, but everybody else has been good. Citigroup wasn't good.
How did Goldman do this morning?
Goldman was good. Goldman came out. They blew it away actually, 460 versus the 420 estimate. So, and they are trading, but they're not trading up much because of Citigroup. Citigroup was missed big time, so that's why.
Look, we are semi-pregnant. Okay, we're semi-pregnant with Citi and B of A. All because of. I would have pulled the plug on these guys a long time ago, but then, I wasn't running Washington, so what do I know?
Next year.
But back in the TARP days, these are the 2 big consumers of our dollars, right? Citigroup and B of A, and both are terminal patients, in my opinion, until we clean them up really good.
So you're not a believer in the rally in Citigroup or Bank America?
No, neither of the two. I didn't touch B of A at all. I bank with them. I bank with them 20 years.
Okay.
But as an investment, no. I've got a cousin in it that he's in it, and then I hear from the wife. The wife is complaining. I told him, send him to the garage. There's a couch there.
Okay.
Because my cousin he bought too much of B of A and hasn't moved until very recently, and she's very upset. You know what? I'm not a psychologist. I don't solve family problems.
I mean, the one problem here with B of A is the dilution, obviously, in Citigroup. Though both of those companies got diluted hard, and people look at the chart and say, "Oh, Bank of America used to be a $55 stock; it can go back there." Real hard time sledding because it's so diluted. There's so many more shares out there now.
Exactly. They have more shares than Mexico has pesos. So. Seriously. That's why these things going to come back. Look, if you mess up, this always said that the Kenny boy raped that capital account. not for his own benefit. No. He always wanted Merrill Lynch, okay? And his big, but he was already sick when he got there. Why? He bought Countrywide in October 20 of 2007, right after market high. There was the Option Express, competitor to Option House, symposium here in Chicago. I was at Sheraton on the water. I gave a talk that was standing room only with fire marshals banging on the door, trying to get some people out because we were over the limit. They asked me one stock to sell. It was BFA. BFA was at all-time high. I had two people from the back of the room got up, gave me some choice four-letter words, and walked out. Okay? They said, "You were crazy. You're out of your mind." This was October 2007, my friends. Go back to your charts.
That's time.
In about 14 months, the stock was trading in single digits. Those guys all came back and became subscribers. Now, what was my reason? I said, Kenny Boy doesn't know what he's doing. He was running BFA. And why is he buying Countrywide? He's going to bankrupt this great company. In 15 months, it did. Of course, I didn't know this way, by the way. And in the summer of 2008, I was long put spreads, but I didn't hold it long enough. I think we covered at 20. We chickened out. We said, enough, get out. It's not going to go down to 5s or 4, wherever it went down to. It was devastated. And what does he do? When Lehman goes bankrupt, he makes a deal to buy Merrill Lynch. How do you buy a $50 billion company on a handshake in one evening? Come on.
I think
That'd be some due diligence.
I think the government rammed that down their throat.
Of course. No, of course. No, the government was there, kind of part of that collusion, okay, and kind of a seduction, if you will. But he said in interviews, he always eyed the herd, right? All the salesmen of Merrill Lynch, the herd. You know, he wanted to be with them, the thundering herd, and he bought it. But but he didn't understand how deep they were in the mortgages. Why do you think there were huge write-downs afterward? Like by January, right before Obama first inauguration, there were massive write-downs at Merrill Lynch because of the mortgages.
Right. Okay.
A great broker dealer getting involved with mortgages. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a very interesting historical perspective here. But all right, just to wrap up this great interview, very informative and learning a lot of different things about the options markets and your unusual strategies. Just your outlook. Sounds like you're still a perma bull here. You're shaking off this Best Buy move, the Citigroup move. You just think this market, there's too much momentum, too much money on the sidelines, and we're just ready to bust.
We're the only game in town. This is America. Only game in town. We got Janet Yellen put in play. Okay. With all the great problems everybody said, it came and then died away, including Monday sell-off. If you look at the anomalies, remember, the key is to study the numbers.
Okay.
Follow the money. Don't forget rumors. Follow the money. The money will tell you what's going on. And some of it will be, sometimes you could be off a bit. Be ready to adjust. Remember, we're dealing with probabilities and possibilities. There's no certainties in this market.
That's for sure. All right, Fari, thanks a lot. We'll keep an eye on some of those suggestions that you made in Intel and Cap One Financial, as well as your overall outlook on the market. It's great having you on. Thank you so much, and everyone in the chat.
Pleasure's all mine. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about a lot of trade for Google.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay?
You have a great trading day. Thank you, Fari.
All my pleasure. Thanks.
Okay. Wow. Man, what a great interview. I mean, that guy, he has his opinions, but you know what I like about Fari is he does his homework. You know, he has his models, he follows his models, and he sticks to them, and, you know, he has a method of success. And he also talked about how he's had trades on before, and he's taken profits in them, and they've gone, much farther. But he has his parameters, his trades. He takes them off, and I think there's a lot you can learn from what he has to say. But Now we're going to move on here, 10 minutes to the open here, and we got to get some headlines with Mighty Joe Young.
Thank you very much, Joel, and thank you, Fari, for coming on the show again. Like he said, 2 weeks, he'll be back, so everyone rest up until then, because Fari brings a lot of energy into the room.
Rest your ears up.
So, all right, moving into today's headlines. President Obama on Friday is expected to announce some new limits on the National Security Agency program that collects billions of Americans' phone records, but he will call on Congress to help determine the program's future, according to current and former officials familiar with the administration's plans. Obama has concluded the program has value as a counterterrorism tool, the officials said, but is also confronting difficult political realities. The program's sweeping nature has prompted serious privacy concerns, and a divided Congress is unlikely to renew it when the law underpinning the program expires next year. Officials have said Obama's speech is part of an effort to restore confidence at home and abroad in the government's surveillance policies. While the NSA program has perhaps raised the most significant concerns about privacy, a series of disclosures over the past 8 months has generated controversy over U.S. intelligence activities. And as my colleague Brent mentioned earlier, Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer is firing the company's second-in-command, according to a document Yahoo filed with the SEC on Wednesday. Enrique de Castro was Mayer's first major hire at the company. She convinced him to leave Google and join her at Yahoo as COO in October 2012, luring him with a 4-year, $62 million deal. De Castro and Mayer, however, reportedly did not get along, a situation that became particularly pronounced over the last few months. His departure was long expected by close watchers of the company, per technology news website Recode. Thursday will be De Castro's last day at the company. As part of his severance package, De Castro will receive a $20 million stock bonus per Yahoo's SEC filing. You know what? I would leave for that much money, too.
Yeah, I wonder what happened
Just
there,
write me a check. I'm out of here.
Problems in the C-suite.
I guess so. Moving on, Blair Westlake, Microsoft's longtime vice president of media and entertainment, is leaving the company after a decade as the troubled technology giant undergoes a restructuring. As the reorganization has unfolded, it has become clear to me that the organization is moving in a direction that does not fit either my expertise or skill sets, Westlake said in a statement. Therefore, I have made the decision to leave Microsoft. Westlake oversaw the group that licensed movies and television shows for Microsoft product, including the Xbox Live online entertainment service offered through the video game console. The team also has been involved in policy issues surrounding intellectual property and content protection technology. French cosmetics company L'Oreal and eBay said Wednesday they have settled a long-running legal dispute over the sale of counterfeit goods on online marketplaces. The firms have been at loggerheads since 2007 when L'Oreal brought eBay to court in 5 European countries because the French company said it wasn't satisfied with eBay's response to concerns about the sale of goods on websites. After ruling in favor of eBay, a UK court nevertheless asked for clarification from the European Court of Justice. The ruling from the European Court said in 2011 that operators like eBay aren't exempt from liability if they have knowledge of or control over information about items for sale on their sites. L'Oreal said Wednesday that the financial terms of the settlement are in its favor, but the details are confidential. The European car market has endured its longest slump ever with a 6th straight year of contraction in 2013, but an unexpected surge in December sales may signal recovery, according to industry data released Thursday. EU car sales shrank 1.7% last year to 11.8 million, the lowest level since 1995, and a 26% contraction from 2007, before the crisis bottomed out the European market, according to the European Car Makers Association. The slide, however, was not as large as automakers had feared at the beginning of last year, when predictions ranged from further market losses of 3 to 5%. Commerzbank forecasts that the European market will grow 3% this year, the first improvement since 2007. Here it is, our conversation from earlier. The corporate owner of restaurant chain Chuck E. Cheese's has been gobbled up by a private equity firm for $1.3 billion. Apollo Global Management is paying $54 a share in cash for CEC Entertainment. CEC and its franchises operate 577 Chuck E. Cheese stores in 47 states and 10 foreign countries. The restaurants serve up pizzas, sandwiches, and the usual assortment of menus. We all know what they serve there, Shubs. We've all been there for a party.
The pizza is not very good.
It's true. And you know what? You better save that beer, Joel, because you can't wash it all down.
Can you sneak something in your side pocket or something?
You know what? I bet that you can, because I don't think the security there is too high. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you go there for a party, you only get 1 beer per hour. So either send the non-drinkers up to get you another one, or bring in your own, as Joel said.
Here at Benzinga, we definitely do not condone the sneaking in of anything inside of pockets as far as specifically a children's restaurant go. So just clarifying that.
Have you been to that Maple Theater on Maple and Telegraph?
Actually, I have never been there.
Well, I went there a couple of weeks ago. Lisa dragged me to see some movie, and they also serve alcohol in there. And I went in, and
so you're not allowed back in there either now.
No,
huh?
well, the guy, he asked me for my ID. Okay, and then after he looked at my ID, he slapped a little wristband on me, and there's a 2-drink minimum there.
Oh, minimum or maximum?
Maximum. I'm sorry, 2-drink maximum. Yeah,
if it's a 2-drink minimum, that's my kind of movie theater. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I was kind of thrilled, that they ID'd me, since I have a kid that's of the drinking age, but nothing like Chuck E. Cheese's.
Nope, nothing at all. All right, I'll finish the rest of this then. In the deal announced Thursday, Apollo is paying an 11.5% premium from Wednesday's CEC stock close and 25% above the closing price on January 7th. That was the day before media speculation about a purchase started driving up CEC share price. CEC has reported a drop in revenue in 5 of the last 7 quarters, but shares of the stock are up 33% last year, helped by a 13% increase in the dividend announced in October. Apollo was one of the buyers last year of Hostess Brands, maker of Twinkies and other snacky cakes. It joined with Metropolis and Company to buy the assets of the company out of bankruptcy. And a California woman is believed to be the first cited for wearing Google's computer in an eyeglass while driving, says she was within her rights and violated no law. I read this headline wrong. I thought that it was going to say that a California woman has the first Google Glass eye.
They'll be making that soon.
This woman is the first cyborg in the state of California. The case to be tried Thursday in a San Diego traffic court could help shape future laws on wearable technology as it goes mainstream. Software developer Cecilia Abadi, I think I said that right, is among some 30,000 people called explorers who have been selected to try out the device known as Google Glass before the technology becomes widely available to the public later this year.
Yeah, she'll be able to look at her thermostat, okay, and think cold, and it will turn down the thermostat.
That's right. Like, so while you're wearing your Google Glass, driving home from work, you check your Nest Labs programmable smart thermostat at home, kick on that air conditioning, and by the time you get there, boom, nice and chill, right?
Well, that's overwhelming. You just overwhelmed the heck out of me, Joe.
Maybe they'll even have like those electronic corkscrews that you just leave on a wine bottle. So it kicks on the AC, uncorks the wine, pours it in the decanter, lets it air out. By the time you get home, and it brings your slippers to the door because they're like little Roombas, right? So it cleans up the mess and everything.
That's Google. That's Google.
That's Google for you. Abadi was pulled over in October on suspicion of going 80 miles an hour in a 65-mile-an-hour zone. Nothing wrong with that here in Michigan. On the San Diego freeway, California Highway Patrol officer saw she was wearing Google Glass and tacked on a citation usually given to people driving while a video or TV screen is on in the front of their vehicle. Abadi has pleaded not guilty to both charges in San Diego traffic court and said she will feel like her rights have been taken away if the judge Thursday rules in favor of the officer. It's a big responsibility for me and also for the judge, who is going to interpret a very old law compared with how fast technology is changing, said Abadi, who wears Google Glass up to 12 hours a day. Wow. See, she needs the Google Glass eye, so she doesn't have to worry about taking that stuff on and off again.
Jeez.
Today's trivia tidbit, ladies and gentlemen. On this day in 1970, 7-time Golden Glover Kurt Flood of the St. Louis Cardinals filed suit in a New York federal court against Commissioner Bowie Kuhn.
Kuhn, come on. Bowie Kuhn, come on.
The presidents of the American and National Leagues and all 24 teams in the MLB. In Flood versus Kuhn, The historic case that followed, Flood argued that the reserve clause violated antitrust laws and violated the 13th Amendment, which barred slavery and involuntary servitude. By that time, Flood's career was over. His lost battle turned into an eventual win for the players, however. Major League Baseball agreed to federal arbitration of players' salary demands in 1973, and in 1975, an arbitrator effectively threw out the reserve clause, paving the way for free agency in baseball and all professional sports. Does anyone happen to know in the chat room, or perhaps here on the news desk, who the first free agent was? Is this just for MLB or for all professional sports?
For sure MLB, and I believe all professional.
This is a good one.
Because Kurt Flood was the one that started the case, but he was not the first. They were not the first one, right?
Is anyone in the chat trying to guess right now? The first free agent.
Wait, what team did he play for?
Couple. Not a very big name.
What did he say?
Not a very.
It
Not
was
a
not
big-
a very big name. He played for a few teams. And anyone?
Jack Armbruster.
Well, sorry, Joel. You were close. Andy Messersmith.
Oh, Andy Messersmith. He pitched for the Dodgers.
Yep, who pitched in 1975 without a contract, led the National League in complete games and shutouts and finishing second in earned run average, not to mention winning a Gold Glove. He then signed a 3-year $1 million deal with the Atlanta Braves. Comparatively, Cy Young winner and 26-year-old Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers' ace left-hander, reached an agreement Wednesday to stay with the team for 7 years and $215 million, the largest for a pitcher in history. That wraps it up for today's editorial headlines and trivia tidbit. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that the show would not be possible without our dear friends at OptionsHouse, who will give you 150 commission-free trades just for signing up for an account through this page. There's buttons at the top, at the bottom right, that say OptionsHouse. Get 150 commission-free trades when you open an account. So go ahead and make clickies on that and get 150 commission-free trades just because you listen to Benzinga's pre-market info. That's going to wrap it up from me. The opening bell has rung, and I'm going to hand it over to Brent here, who's going to take it away with movers, rating changes. What do you got for us today?
Etc. Everything. No. Jake could probably get the movers. I'm going to get some of the upgrades, downgrades. We are open for trade, though, so I'm going to really kind of quickly roll through this. Yesterday, I kind of anecdotally noted that we had a rather large amount of downgrades versus upgrades. Today it's the other way around. The trusty Benzinga Pro calendar is showing me around 35 upgrades and just a little over 20 downgrades. So looks like the analysts on the street, a little more bullish today than they were yesterday. Let me roll through these. Citigroup upgrading shares of VMware to buy. Argus Research upgrading shares of CSX to buy following earnings. Micron shares got an upgrade over at JMP, upgraded the stock from market perform to market outperform, setting a $31 price target. Goldman Sachs upgrading shares of Nuvasive, ticker here is November Uniform Victor Alpha, upgrading that stock from sell to neutral. Janney Capital upgrading shares of Annie's, that is Cleverly, ticker Bunny BNNY. We have Telecom Italia getting an upgrade over at Nomura. Bank of America upgrading a number of stocks in the semi space this morning. Western Digital got an upgrade. Emulex also upgraded a couple notches there from underperform to buy. And then Bank of America also upgrading shares of HP this morning, moving that stock to a buy. Some of the notable downgrades this morning. Oppenheimer downgrading shares of Best Buy following that news and the subsequent. What are we down here right now, Joel?
They just got the pre-market.
30%. Holy cow.
What are you talking about?
Best Buy.
Oh, Best Buy.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just take a quick look at that real quick. Made a low in the pre-market, a little bit lower than this. Went down to 25 and change. Got a nice bounce. The exact pre-market low here was, I believe it was like 25.03, and then we got a bounce. Came back under 26 though, so 26 seems to be the moving up ahead. 25 even exactly was the pre-market low.
On the nose.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit overdone here. I think you slipped under. I think buyers are going to keep stepping up here. Pre-market low at 25. 25 even, then you just hit a low at 25.78. I think your next draft down might make another higher low here. So I mean, bad news for the company and everything. I just think they overdid it here a little bit in the pre-market.
Fair enough. Getting back to those downgrades, Morgan Stanley did downgrade shares of Ralph Lauren this morning, ticker Romeo Lima. Downgraded that one from overweight to equal weight, removed their $192 price target. Amarin shares getting a downgrade over at MKM Partners. Looks like we did have a little bit of a analyst contrast here on CSX following those results. We did have an Argus upgrade. Now I'm noting a Stifel Nicholas downgrade. Jeffries downgrading shares of McCormick Mike Kilo Charlie to hold. And last one for the day, Credit Suisse downgrading shares of Kroger from outperform to neutral. Jake looks like he's ready to go. I'm going to pass it off to him, let you guys go to town on this market open.
Alrighty, here we go. I guess we do have the market open. It was quite an interview and getting things rolling this morning. So, Joel, I don't know if you want to kind of give us a quick rundown on what you're seeing on the S&Ps there. I do see we're ticking a little bit lower on the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ this morning. Any thoughts on those this morning real quick?
Just the S&Ps, we made a low at 36.75 here in the pre-market trading. That coincides with the intraday low that you had yesterday at 36.50. So as long as that pre-market low holds here, 36.50, 36.75, I think the bulls will be able to, retain control, take you back up to the 1840 handle. On the other hand, if you do take out that 1836.50, I got a next target on the downside of the Globex low from yesterday at 1831.50. So big level. We'll see what happens. See if we get down there to that 1836.75 level again before the show's over.
Alrighty, we did have some big financial reports this morning. One coming from Goldman Sachs reporting of the fourth quarter EPS of $4.60. EPS coming in at it came in at $4.60 versus expectations of $4.20. Revenues beat by $1 billion. They came in at $8.78 billion versus the expected $7.58. So I guess $1.2 billion, not even just $1 billion. So Goldman Sachs with the big beat there, but shares weren't moving up as much in the pre-market as it would seem with a beat like that. In fact, they're ticking down right now. Joel, what do you think of Goldman here?
I mean, the good news wasn't good enough. I mean, they had it juiced up in the pre-market, traded up all the way to 181.50. Quite a reversal in fortune here. The Citigroup news knocked it down a little bit. Looking at a current low, 177.23. You had a low yesterday at 177. So coming into a minor support level, needs to hold 177. If not, you could easily see the stock trading under 176. You had a double bottom at 175.69 and 175.71, and slow leak here in the S&P futures here, coming down, ready to test that 36.75 level.
Absolutely. We also had a report this morning from Citigroup reporting fourth quarter EPS of 82 cents, which he expected 95 cents. Revenues coming in at 17.94 billion versus the expected 18.54 billion. So miss on the top line, miss on the bottom line. Rough report for Citigroup. Apparently the company reported an effective tax rate of 32%, while Bank of America reported an effective tax rate of 10%. So just interested in, I gotta wonder why one company reported such a different tax rate, but you are seeing Citigroup trade down over 3% in the pre-market. I mean, you just don't see banks making moves like that.
You do. I mean, this is the first one to disappoint, and they are doing it in a big way. You had Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan doing well, and then this one comes and turns the trigger. Just never been a big fan of Citigroup here. I mean, the stock is basically at $5. You know, if you take out the reverse split in mind, not a lot of support here. You made a low at 53.09. I'm not sure if you got a big bid there at the $53 level, but under 53. I mean, if there's someone in the chat room that can tell me there's any support here until 52.31, I don't know. Just that chart not looking good.
definitely something to keep an eye on there with all these financials reporting. We also had BlackRock reporting this morning. EPS came in at 4.92 versus expected 4.34. Well, revenues came in at 270 or 2.78 billion versus expected 2.69 billion. So BlackRock, that's Bravo Lima Kilo. For anyone following along on their own charts, just kind of wanted to get that one in. After the close, we have a few big names too.
Yeah, we do.
Capital One Financial. I'm speaking specifically financials right now. We also have American Express, and on the tech side, we have Intel. So some big names coming in. Taiwan Semiconductor is another one to watch. This morning we also had PNC. EPS at $1.85 versus $1.65 expected.
Wow.
Revenues beat as well, 4.07 billion versus expected 3.84 billion. So PNC, nice solid beat on the bottom line and the top line there. So most of the financials are doing well. Really kind of leaving Citigroup out to dry there.
Yeah, it's an interesting divergence here that you're having. Looking at that Citigroup, it did open up or did trade higher in the pre-market trading here. Got all the way up to, let's see what our high was. In the pre-market, we got to over 81.50 here. 81.66 put the brakes on, and during the pre-market trading, we've come down to 80, getting a nice rally again. So if you're looking for a potential exit point in your PNC long, 81.66 was the pre-market high. And I believe this is just like old Wells Fargo. I believe this is all-time highs for the stock. So it's funny, a couple stocks that kind of came all the way back. Don't think you'll see that for Citigroup or Bank of America.
Not yet, at least. So we do, like I said, we do have some big earnings after the close yesterday. Got to keep an eye out for those. And then tomorrow morning, we actually have some big names as well. I want to preview those real quick. We have, I know we have GE, we have Morgan Stanley, and Schlumberger tomorrow morning. So definitely some stuff going on there. But I want to kind of move over to some of the movers. Best Buy shares absolutely getting crushed this morning. Company reported what its holiday sales were, and that they're down 0.8%. Now, the reason they said that they were down 0.8% year over year was because they're focusing on price competitiveness. So basically, they're saying we're slashing our prices, which is why we're making less money, and traders are just crushing them on this. It's down almost $11.
Looking at, yeah, it did hit 25 in the pre-market. Got under 26 here in early trading. Just to me, I mean, I can't tell you to buy it and I can't tell you to short it, but I can tell you if you are shorted and you're getting this windfall overnight here, we've already stepped up from the pre-market low at 25, hit 25.78 today, and during the regular session, I just think you're going to see. Not gonna predict over the long term here, but just today, I mean, what a windfall for traders. That what if you just took a shot on any of the puts or anything 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31 put. I mean, you're in the money. I mean, especially if you're playing the weeklies or something like that. You got a lot of profit from overnight. So people that are puking the stock are going to have to do it over the next couple of days. But I'm looking for some support here for Best Buy to find support.
No kidding. So big move there for Best Buy. Also want to kind of take a look at JCPenney. Shares have fallen this morning. Company did have some news after the close yesterday. That's Juliet Charlie Papa. For anyone that wants to follow along on their own charts, the company announced that it was going to cut 2,000 jobs after the close yesterday, while they're going to close 33 stores. So that's seemingly bearish news there. They're expecting a pre-tax charge of $26 million for the fourth quarter. So JCPenney, some rough news there, and they're down. Was that a little over 7% in the pre-market right now, below $7. 650 is roughly where I'm seeing them sitting at right now.
Yeah, it hit 640, down 47 cents. Had a ridiculous move up to 7. Was it 790? Yeah, that thing hit 790 when someone must have read the ticker wrong on the news. It got to pop up and then pull back. I guess the only number that you can look at here in J.C. Penney is the multi-year low. It was a double bottom at 624 and 627, trying to inch its way down there. So if you're using that for a target, I think it's going to see some pretty good bids here. You already got the bounce off the 640 level, so low could be in for the day. But I just want to alert our traders that this market is on taking out support. We are taking out yesterday's intraday low, 36.50 here, trying to regain its footing. Down goes the 177 level in Goldman Sachs. Beats by $1 billion, and they're taking the stock out for a haircut of 2.5 points. Goldman Sachs is coming into another support level here. It was a double bottom from a few trading sessions ago. And let me give you the numbers on that. I believe it was at 175.69 and 175.71 here. Got to 76 and a quarter. See if things thicken up the 176 level. Citigroup vigorously trying to defend the $53 level. Got to tick down to 52.95. Need to keep going. And look at the Citigroup. Is if you were had your selling shoes on, off the open, you would be selling it less than fair value. But that one opened up right at its high of the day.
Absolutely. One last little area I want to hop into are some solars that are moving this morning.
Okay.
SunPower is on the move, as is Solar City. Both caught upgrades this morning. SunPower got initiated actually at J.P. Morgan at an overweight rating and a $38.50 price target. Stock's currently trading above $32. It's gained about $2 or 2.2%. And then Solar City, I believe it was Deutsche Bank that gave them an upgrade this morning. That is Elon Musk's solar play. I'm going to have to dive more into that one.
Wow, look at that.
Solar City on the move as well, which is obviously, when you get a couple names moving, in the solar sector, they tend to kind of move as a group. So just kind of wanted to keep an eye on that. This was also dragging Canadian Solar up, and they had a great session yesterday. So just wanted to tip off our traders to those solar stocks on the move this morning.
Okay, I just want to take a look at this First Solar real quick to see if that's joining the rally. It got crushed when Goldman Sachs, I remember they came up and they upgraded Solar. They did the old switcheroo. They upgraded one and downgraded the other.
Set up a pair trade.
And
First Solar's getting a little bit of a boost this morning, not quite 1%. It looks like maybe it's becoming a little bit less volatile than the other names, but it is getting a little bit of a boost.
Okay, just real quick, we've been talking about that $75 level in GILD. Finally got through there today. Yesterday it didn't work going through 75, but if you if you stuck to your guns on this one, opened up above 75 and held and is off to the races. I believe it's making a new all-time high. 76.11 did make a new all-time high. Don't want to see this puppy slide back under 76, but nice run. Also, Violin Maker, if you're playing this from the long side, just keep an eye on the average daily range if you're looking for a target. And then finally, Tom Egan popped in, and I've been looking at this crude market too, and trades pretty well technically. If you were using yesterday's high in crude as an exit point, shorting against that, you're in good shape here. Exact double top in crude at 94.64, falling down low 93.60. Not sure if we can quite get to yesterday's low of 92.43, but crude is reversed. The S&Ps are still trying to defend that 1836.50 level. Did tick down it by a quarter, so see if you can turn it around out of there. I want to thank Fari for coming on and Joe for helping out as well, and Brent and Jake. You guys are great. Hope we had a good broadcast for you, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.